Hello 8th graders, I'm Dr. Emery Palmer. I have been asked by a few members of your class to participate in this 8th grade circulatory system project. As you have just heard, there's been a very wonderful presentation about the lymphatic system. Essentially, the structure and the function of the lymphatic system has just been described in the previous presentation. I will quickly explain to you that the circulatory system of the body consists of a number of different parts. The parts that we're all very familiar with are the heart, the arteries, and the veins. The heart pumps blood through the arteries to the different tissue or the different tissues. Fluid goes from the arteries into the arterioles, etc., right down to the capillaries, and at the capillary level, fluid leaves the arterial system and goes into the tissue. That is the space between the cells. Now, most of that fluid is drained through the capillaries back into the venous system that takes blood back to the heart. But not all the fluid goes there. The rest of the fluid goes back to the heart through the lymphatic system. And as has just been described, that includes clearing of debris, infection, waste products, etc. Now, essentially what has just been described by the previous presentation is the structure and normal functioning of a healthy lymphatic system. I have been asked to talk about an unhealthy, diseased, or abnormally functioning lymphatic system. I will tell you about three different types. The first type is when there's a blockage in the lymphatic system. Sometimes that may happen after there has been surgery to an area, trauma such as a fracture or a crush injury, and it damages the lymphatic system. If that happens, let's say at the leg or at the thigh, all the lymphatic systems in one leg go through the groin before getting to all the parts of the lymphatic system. Now, if there's damage to that central point, then you can start having swelling in that leg. There's another thing that can cause that, and that's what happens in most of the world. It's blocked by a worm that is called the filaria worm. This worm blocks the lymphatic drainage and causes continuous progressive swelling of the leg. If something isn't done about it, it can get to a point where the whole of the leg gets 2 to 3 times the size of the other leg and can actually change in color to a very dark and sometimes even greenish appearance. That is very unpleasant. That's one. Another malfunction or dysfunction of the lymphatic system is when the lymph nodes, which are supposed to participate in fighting infection, get infected themselves, and the infection gets out of control. They get swollen, red, hot, and they can get pretty large. An example of that is tuberculous lymphadenitis, in which the tuberculous mycobacterium infects a lymph node and makes it very large. That can happen in somebody's neck. Now, a third dysfunction or disease of the lymphatic system is when there's malignancy. A malignancy is a situation in which there's abnormal multiplication or proliferation of tissue. And this is very abnormal tissue and can cause death in various ways. And when that happens in the lymphatic system, it is called a lymphoma. That can cause lymph nodes to swell in various parts of the body, and when these lymph nodes are taken out and looked at under the microscope, the abnormal lymphatic or lymphoid or lymphoma tissue can be identified. Thank you.